November 26, 1942, Americans celebrated Thanksgiving for the first time as an official federal holiday. It happened during World War II, a moment when the country needed a pause, a prayer, and a promise of unity. But the road to that holiday wasn't smooth. For years, people across the country didn't always celebrate Thanksgiving on the same day. And when President Franklin Roosevelt tried to fix the problem, he accidentally created an even bigger one. But who made the initial push for Thanksgiving back in the 19th century? And how did FDR try but fail to fix the date of the holiday? In October 1863, during the American Civil War, U.S. President Abraham Lincoln proclaimed a Thanksgiving holiday to be celebrated on the last Thursday of November, the 26th. The move came from a desire to express gratitude for the crucial Union victory at Gettysburg a few months earlier. Lincoln's announcement harkened back to George Washington, who had called for an official day of public thanksgiving and prayer in his first year as U.S. President in 1789. Since Lincoln's proclamation, Thanksgiving had traditionally fallen on the last Thursday of November, but it wasn't official, meaning it had to be proclaimed each year by successive presidents. Lincoln's decision was greatly influenced by Sarah Josepha Hale, a prominent figure known for writing the children's poem Mary Had a Little Lamb and editing the popular women's magazine Godey's Lady's Book. For decades, Hale had written articles and editorials advocating a fixed national Thanksgiving holiday, which was already celebrated in parts of the nation, especially in the Northeast. After Gettysburg, Hale wrote to both President Lincoln and Secretary of State William Seward, urging them to declare a national Thanksgiving celebration. Within a week of receiving her letters, Lincoln made his Thanksgiving declaration. The yearly presidential proclamations worked fine for the next 70 years, until the Great Depression. Retailers wanted a longer Christmas shopping season in 1939, so Roosevelt decided to move Thanksgiving earlier. The last Thursday of November that year was the 30th, which was the 5th Thursday of the month. So he proclaimed the 4th Thursday, the 23rd, rather than the 30th, as the Thanksgiving holiday. This sowed both confusion and backlash, with some U.S. states insisting on celebrating on the traditional last Thursday instead. Critics mockingly dubbed the president's change of date as Franksgiving. In 1940 and 41, FDR leaned into the controversy by moving the holiday to the 3rd Thursday, as there were only 4 Thursdays in November during each of those years. By late 1941, Roosevelt admitted the experiment had failed. Congress took over and passed a simple, permanent solution. Thanksgiving would fall on the 4th Thursday of November every year. Roosevelt signed it into law on December 26, 1941, just weeks after Pearl Harbor. That made November 26, 1942, the first federally recognized Thanksgiving Day. Somewhere, Sarah Josepha Hale must have been smiling. In his Thanksgiving proclamation, Roosevelt quoted scripture, echoed George Washington, and urged Americans to pray, privately and publicly, while the nation fought a battle on many fronts. Despite rationing, travel restrictions, and empty seats at family tables, Americans gathered, cooked, and gave thanks. Troops overseas were served turkey whenever possible, and at home, families made do with ingenuity instead of abundance. In a year filled with uncertainty, Thanksgiving 1942 reminded Americans that gratitude wasn't tied to prosperity. It was tied to perseverance. A tradition finally had a date, and a nation at war still found a moment to give thanks. Here are other events that happened today in history. In 1862, Lewis Carroll sends a handwritten manuscript of Alice in Wonderland as a Christmas gift. In 1898, a New England storm kills 450 people, including all on board the passenger ship Portland. In 1922, Brits Carter and Carnarvon become the first to enter King Tut's tomb in 3,000 years. In 1941, Admiral Nagumo sets sail with the Japanese fleet on its mission to attack Pearl Harbor. In 1942, Casablanca, starring Humphrey Bogart and Ingrid Bergman, premieres in New York City. In 1968, U.S. helicopter pilot James Fleming rescues a Special Forces team, earning the Medal of Honor. In 1989, MTV Unplugged, featuring acoustical performances, makes its broadcast premiere. And now it's time for our Today in History quiz. What was the name of the Spanish galleon, known as the Holy Grail of shipwrecks, that was discovered off the coast of Colombia in 2015? The Santa Ana, the San Jose, the Santa Margarita, or the San Pedro? Liked learning about the history of Thanksgiving? Then you'll love this one about the history of Halloween. Tap the screen to keep the story going on Today in History.